And hello, welcome to solo playthroughs. We're gonna go back to the world of Ankar, one of those two. We're going to Cloudspire with the first chapter of the Heirs. Yes, those stuck-up birds who think they're better than everybody else because they're birds, and birds are not only creepy but conceited, clearly. So we're gonna do Heirs chapter 1. I was thinking about maybe jumping to a later chapter, but I kind of like the story at this point, and I might just go through all the chapters because what else am I going to do? I mean, it's Cloudspire. It's one of my favorite games for sure, and I just like going through these chapters pretty slowly for the channel, and we'll see. I might change my mind and only do one Grove Tenders or one Aurora, or maybe I'll just do two Heirs. I don't know. It's going to be a surprise. I'm going to be surprised too. So let's get into some story time with Greg. And we have Heirs Chapter 1. Those giants, those enormen. General Jelena Nestor scoffed, using the Heirs pejorative for their new enemies. Thought they could come to our doorstep and score in the hand of the master? Pfah! This will only show the rest of the islands that we are the true heirs of Ankar. With the battle struck, our ascendance is inevitable. The others at the briefing nodded assiduously. Jelena strode to a map of Testament and its surrounding plains, known locally as the Fields of Inheritance. She started pacing back and forth in front of it, jabbing her finger at the Brawnen siege towers throughout the field as she spoke. These spires are giving the enourmous a constant stream of resources for them to continue their barrage, she snarled. We have received reports from the Royal Talons that the Brawnen have developed a method for crafting source bombs directly from the energy drawn from the spires. They're restocking their ammunition in the field. We must send our healthy jousts and harriers to engage the Brawnen infantry in a feint. Meanwhile, our hummingers will target the spires. I want the Elfinkaze deployed in mass events. A humminger captain glanced around to see if any other heirs representing the humminger forces had been called to the briefing. Seeing none, he timidly raised his wingtip. Excuse me, Your Honor, but deploying the amount of Elfinkaze needed for mass events at all the spires would deplete what little remains of our supply. We've been analyzing the Bronnen's construction and believe that a single unit or two striking at the base of a spire would be enough to bring them down. His suggestion was berated and ignored, but after the briefing, the captain was found by one of Jelena's lieutenants, Darb Purchett. Ultimately, the general won't care how you take those spires, as long as you do take them, Darb whispered. If you think you can do it without as many Elfinkaze, then talk it over with your men and get it done. Yeah, all right. Go birds, baby. Birds fly, eagles fly. Yes, I'm sorry, I'm a Philly guy. And if you don't know what that meant, that's great. You just, probably have wasted less time than I have watching American football. Let's do the Mad Bomber scenario. It is 5 waves. Opponent is the Brawnen. This is the exact same map as the 4th scenario for the Brawnen. Well, it's supposed to be the exact same map, but somebody maybe set this up a little bit wrong in the 4th chapter. So if you go back to my playthrough of the Brawnen, that was a live playthrough, Brawnen chapter 4. It did not go well. I had this up here a bit. It is supposed to be right there. And one of the interesting things about this scenario is a carryover. If you have completed the siege tower objective in Brawnen scenario 4 for each hexes A, B, and C that contained a siege tower at the end of that scenario, reconstruct that spire and add 2 range instead of constructing the spire shown. I have gone through renown in all of the chapters. I do not do it all the time. I really did struggle with that chapter, and I assure you that my siege towers at the end were very, very weenie. So I'm just going to go with what they have here on the picture. So siege tower A is right here, and it has 3 range chips and it has an attack chip. Siege tower B has 3 range chips, an attack chip, and a fortification chip in the middle of those 2 things. And then siege tower on C has 3 range chips and an attack chip. This location G is going to be a staging area. That will make sense as we go. We have a lance launcher here. It has basically a range chip sandwich. It's a range chip nestled between 2 attack chips, and there's 2 fortification chips on the bottom. Remember, lance launchers have air defense. It makes a lot of sense that they would be used in this scenario. And then we have another lance launcher, which is the exact same setup as this lance launcher, except it has an additional fortification chip at the top, just for fun. And then finally over here, we have a dispatch platform. It has splash, and it only has 1 attack chip, 2 range chips, and a fortification chip. I need to go ahead and set up 2 of these swamp chips, 1 each for each of the source wells closest to the fortress gates. I'm going to roll a d8 for the first one over there by the Brawnen fortress gate. I rolled 6, and then I'll roll a d6 for the second one. I got a 2. We'll put that over here. Now I'm going to take the rest of these landmark chips. There are 19 left. There are 7 of each type. If you have the Portal Seekers expansion, we're going to roll a d20. I rolled a 12. That's up to 12. I'm going for this location here. That is a 16. So there's 18 left. So that will be number 16. And then we're going to put 1 all the way over there. I rolled an 11. So there's 5 there, plus 5, 6. This is going to go over here. Should be all of the landmark chips. I'm going to set the market. We have all the market chips. Give them a little bit of a rearranging. They're pretty shuffled, so that will work. I'm not much of a market person when it comes to this game. I've really come away from doing the market. I find the challenge of just trying to really beef out the faction using only the faction's stuff a little bit more engaging for me, and the market just kind of feels cool at times, but sometimes feels a little bit cheap for me. But that's, again, nothing wrong with the game design. If you love the market, that's great. I probably should use Earthscapes a lot more than I do at minimum. So I'll do the market, but don't be surprised if I don't buy anything. And again, it is definitely probably a huge hole in my strategy. I'm going to take these relic cards. We're going to shuffle them up. Again, relics are sometimes given as a reward for defeating landmark minions. And when you get a relic, you can instead immediately discard it and get 4 source instead. That is almost always what I will do. We have these Earthscapes. Again, there will be 1 in the market every phase. And now we'll go to the rest of the instructions for chapter 1 of the Heirs. So objectives: to get 3 renown, we need to do these 3 things. First, have an Heir Spire constructed on each isle at the same time. When I was first starting to play this scenario, I was reading isle as every little piece of neoprene mat, including the Earthscapes. No, those are not isles. Those are Earthscapes. So just the 4 big mats on this board. These are the isles. So really, actually not that hard to do. Defeat 2 Brawnen Spires using Glide Bomb. That's a little harder to do. We'll see if we can pull that off. And then defeat the Brawnen Fortress Gate using Glide Bomb. As soon as the Brawnen Fortress Gate is defeated, the scenario immediately ends. The Brawnen Fortress Gate starts with 10 health. Our gate also has 10 health. Scenario rules: Siege Storm triggered during the event phase. Siege Tower Spires immediately use raze to attack an Air Fortress Spire, if in range. Otherwise, they will use raze to attack the Air Fortress Gate, if in range. Raze still occurs at the start of the Brawnen's turn during the onslaught phase as normal. Each time a Brawnen Spire is defeated using a Glide Bomb, the Elfinkaze used is removed from the game for the remainder of the scenario. When this happens, place an Architect on the bottom of the Brawnen's deployment stack. So, Elfinkazes, we only have 3. We best use them well. One of the things that made this super hard for me the first few times I played it is that I didn't realize that when raze was used to attack a Fortress Spire, the bottom chip is removed. Because I was like, oh my gosh, with all these siege storms, it's really hard to keep your health up. And I was either barely skating by with like 1 health on my gate, or I was losing very early. So don't be like me. When you use raze on your own fortress gate, as you're following the rules of the scenario, remember that you take off a bottom chip of the offending siege tower. AI rules: staged units are considered inactive. Marks: the Brawnen Fortress Gate is the mark for the Heirs, so I have that there. That's where our minions are definitely going to go. And then the Air Fortress Gate is the mark for the Brawnen. There's an event die result chart. We will get to that when we do the event rolls, and that's going to be pretty soon. So wave 1, there are 5 waves in this scenario. Wave 1 does start with initiative belonging to the Heirs. We're going to trigger a siege storm. This siege tower is in range of the fortress gate of the Heirs, so it is attacking with 1 chip because it has 1 attack. It rolls a 0, but it did do an attack, so it doesn't have to do a damage. The rules for raze are after the attack, it loses a chip. The siege tower is also going to attack the fortress gate. It does 1 damage to our fortress gate. It loses a bottom chip, and then this siege tower is going to do the same thing. It does 1 damage to our fortress gate, and then it loses a chip. They are all still in range of our fortress gate. However, once they do 1 more attack, they will not be in range. Now, things can change. They might get some more range chips, but we will see. I'm going to roll this event die. I rolled a Uno. Trigger siege storm again. Here we go. This siege tower is attacking. That was not a damage dice. We're going to roll this. That's a 1. So our gate's down to 7. It loses this. We take this down to 6. It loses this. And down to 5. It loses this. So now none of them are in range of our fortress gate. Wonderful. We now go to the income phase. We do start with 3 source. You'll see that being very important with the way the heirs play and how their fortress is built up as you go. We have a market phase as normal. The 3 chips in the market are Phoenix, Quick Strike, and Swindle. He costs 5 to get. Obviously cannot get him. We have Ladnil, Channel, and Healing. Costs 4 to get. And then we have our friend the Nomad. She costs 2 to get. We're going to flip this over. What is it? It's a wonderful landscape. So I'm going to go now to the build phase. I'm going to spend my 3 source to upgrade our fortress. I'm going to get level 1 of Sanctuary, gain the command die. Command die once per wave during the prep phase. Roll this die. You may increase your CP by the result. 1/3 of this die says +1 CP. 1/3 of it says +2 CP. 1/6 of it says 3 CP. And 1 says no effect. So I'm going to roll that at least 3 times. No, I did not roll it this time. So great. We get +2 CP for this phase. How much CP do we have? Well, we have 4 plus a 2. So I'm going to have 6 command points to spend. Let me prep the Brawnen before I go forth and figure out what the heck I'm taking. The Brawnen are going to have 2 Battleborns. They are not going to be grouped, and neither one of them are on their promoted side. So 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. So let's take a look at the heirs. When playing as the heirs, you will find that the advancements and spires are cheap and the options are many. True. Minions and heroes. The heirs can only promote their minions through the use of Keem's rally talent or by purchasing the Academy Peak 2. That is, again, one of the many things we could do in putting these on our fortress to show that we have a bunch of upgrades. There are ways that we can upgrade the Harriers. There's ways that we can upgrade the Joust, but ultimately everything's going to start on its non-promoted side. And then if it defeats something, we can get it to the promoted side only if we have developed Academy Peak 2, or if Keem defeats something, then we can promote all minions within 2 of it. So that's going to be something we're going to definitely try to trigger at some point during this scenario. So with my 6 CP, the fact that the Siege Storm went twice and these towers are pretty low means I might actually do something that I don't normally do. I would kind of love to get Keem out. He's 3 CP. If I put Keem out and a Joust, it'd be a very different way for me to play this, but I kind of like that idea. So I'm going to play bad and do something I've never done and do it on camera. So 3 command points for Keem, 3 command points for Joust. The Joust comes in with 3 health. Keem comes in with 4 health. Keem on his regular side has flying and quick strike. The Joust on its regular side just has quick strike. And let's see if we can't pull off some magic here. Joust is going to move 2, 1, 2. Keem's terrain allotment is wave, so he can get on anything. Keem's going to go 1, 2, 3. Quick strike from Keem. Quick strike from the Joust. Now we go to the Spires firing phase. The Spires are going to fire. It cannot fire upon Keem, even though he's a hero, and that would normally be priority because this siege tower does not have air defense. It's going to fire with his 1 remaining attack upgrade against the Joust. It does 1 damage. We now go to the Brawnen's turn. The Brawnen are going to go 1, 2, 1, 2. There are no spires around to fire, so that is the end of the Brawnen's activation. We go back. Oh, by the way, this is the Brawnen chip. I'm going to put this over here. Again, that is the target for the Brawnen AI. Now, remember, if the Siege Tower still had range to our Fortress Gate, they would still be firing, but they do not. They're not firing anymore. They're just kind of chilling. So the Joust is going to go 1, 2. Keem is going to go 1, 2, 3. And then Keem is going to do his quick strike. He's going to defeat the siege tower. Now, rally is not going to trigger because that's on the promoted side of Keem, but I wanted to get Keem out so I can get to rally quicker in the next couple of rounds. The siege tower is defeated. I'm going to get an upgrade for Keem. I'm going to take myself a attack chip, and Keem only has capacity for 1 upgrade. So the next time he upgrades, he will definitely flip over and he will lose quick strike, but he will gain rally. The Joust cannot attack anything. There is nothing in range for it to attack. And now we go to the Brawnen. The Battleborns go 1, 2, 1, 2. This Joust is going to go 1, 2. Keem's going to go 1. Keem is not upgraded yet, so Keem's going to do his quick strike, do that. The spires are going to fire. Spires cannot reach this joust. I could explore that. I don't want to explore that. I do want to take off one of these fortification chips with the joust next turn, so we're just going to chill. By the way, when we defeated the siege tower, I should have gotten a 5 source reward. That's beautiful. The Battleborns are going to go 1, 2, max progress, 1, 2, max progress. The Heirs are going to go. Joust goes 1, 2, quick strike. Keem's going to quick strike. He's going to now upgrade. So he's on the rally side and he is flying still, but he does lose the quick strike. We get 5 swords for defeating this siege tower. So we are fully up to 10 now. Keem now has 3 movement still, but his basic attack is a 2 as opposed to a 3. Additionally, when he went from the non-promoted side to the promoted side, he gains a health. Perfecto. The lance launcher is going to fire at the joust. This lance launcher is not in range. Never mind. I just realized that this map is messed up. I had to shift it over when I turned the camera on. All right, to the magic of video editing, that took 5 seconds. Sorry about that. It was definitely too low earlier. And then when I shifted it, I just put it in the wrong place because I have a habit of doing silly things. Let's get back to this Battleborn. That would have moved 1, 2, 1, 2. The joust went, did a quick strike there. And now this lance launcher is going to attack the joust. It is attacking the joust with 2 attack dice and only does 1 damage. It's not going to matter. The Battleborn's going to finish the joust off anyway. We now go to the Brawnen's turn, which is their 4th turn. They move there. They move there. This Battleborn attacks the joust. The joust is knocked out of the game. We go to the Heirs' turn. The Heirs are going to move 1, 2, 3. The Spire cannot reach Keem. It does have air defense, but again, Keem is still out of range. And then during the exploration part, we're going to flip this over, and it is Awaken. I don't love that for a lot of reasons. It's just going to make it too easy for the architects later to develop some towers. I was definitely hoping for something that would give me some CP. And so Keem is not going to attack this turn. The Battleborns are going to go 1, 2, 1, 2. Keem's going to go 1, 2, 3 and stop. Battleborns go 1, 2, 1, 2. Keem goes 1, 2, is attacking. It's not quick strike anymore, but again, this siege tower doesn't have air defense, so it can't attack Keem anyway. Battleborns are going to go 1, 2, 1, 2. Keem is going to finish off this siege tower. We're going to get 5 more swords, so that gets us up to 15. This will go here, and we're going to give Keem a attack upgrade. Battleborn is going to go 1, 2, 1, 2. Its priority is that it's going to attack the fortress gate. So 1 damage to the gate. The gate retaliates for 1 back. And this Battleborn is going to also attack the fortress gate. So down to 3, 1 damage back. Keem's going to defeat this Battleborn. And we're going to get 2 source for that. So that gets us up to 17. This Battleborn could do an adjacent move. It doesn't need to. It's going to stay right there. Does 1 more damage to the fortress gate. Retaliates, and then Keem's going to go 1, 2, 3 and defeat this Battleborn, and we're going to get 2 more swords for that. So we are up to 19. Actually, before Keem did that, I think we should definitely spend some of our source. I can only build a high rise or a refuge right now, and I don't think either makes that much sense. So we will just absolutely chill. Our gate is down to 2 health. Not ideal, but I think we'll be able to make it work. Hopefully. We're going to go to wave 2. So the Brawnen have priority. We're going to trigger a siege storm. If there were still siege towers storming our gate, I don't know how you survive this scenario. So fortunately, that is not our issue. We're going to roll the event die. I rolled a 3. What happens with the 3? We're going to stage a promoted Battleborn, and it's going to go over there in the staging area. It is inactive, so I'm just going to put this on top to remind me of that. Now, if there was another Battleborn already there, we'd place this one on top. They'd be ungrouped, and there'd be a deployment stack, and they will deploy during the onslaught phase. Since there's only 1, that will not happen. We're going to get 3 source. We are maxed out at 20. Market phase as normal. So these 3 chips go away. We're going to replace them with what? Well, we have the tactics manual. So it has the train ability. What is the train ability? So I'm going to go to the landmark talents. Let's look up at train. This hero's upgrade capacity is increased by 1. Interesting. I don't hate that. It could work pretty well with Darb. Maybe. We'll see. I'm like, I never buy stuff from the market. And here I am going to buy something from the market. So we have the slingshot. That will go there. And then we have the fashioner. The fashioner has the improve keyword. And that says when this unit ends its movement adjacent to a friendly spire, you may spend 2 source to add any upgrade to that spire, ignoring upgrade capacity. I'm definitely intrigued by train, but it also will mean it's going to take me that much longer to get Darb to the promoted side. It's intriguing. We go to the build phase. The Brawnen, they're going to add attack chips to the bottom of all their siege tower spires. They don't have any on the board. Again, this is Lance Launcher, and Dispatch Platform. We're going to get 6 CP. I'm going to roll this die before I forget. Well, there's the 1 of 3 times that I'm going to blank myself on that, and that's going to be super awesome, guys. We're going to get an upgraded Battleborn into play, and then the Brawner are going to have 2 non-upgraded dispatches. Now, the non-upgraded dispatches are pretty important from the upgraded ones because they do not have the splash ability, which can be really annoying. I digress. So this is going to have 3 health, Battleborn has 3 health, and we'll put them over here. Now I'm going to do the rest of my build phase and my prep phase for the heirs. Again, it's just easier this way. Take care of the AI and then deal with yourself. I'm going to be able to upgrade a few things here. I'm definitely going to get the stables 1. The health stat of all Harrier minions is permanently increased by 1. I'm going to get reserves. Once per wave, when your last minion is eliminated, you may immediately spend 2 source to put a joust into play. Place that joust on the closest path hex to your mark that is adjacent to an air spire. I'll probably spend this 3 for the joust training. Gain the joust die, roll and lock the die during the prep phase. Each wave, you may add the corresponding upgrade or health on all joust minions put into play this wave. The added chips may exceed the health stats and ignore upgrade capacity. So if I spend that 9, what else am I spending here? I do want to get graduation, which is Academy Peak level 1. Regal Lookout and Minaret Spires can now be constructed. And if I got Master Training, my faction minions may be promoted when they defeat a unit or a spire. I am hopefully going to be able to make use of the rally ability, so I won't get that just yet, but the total that I spent is going to be 9 for those 3 upgrades for stables, 4 for Academy Peak. That's 13, so I have 7 left. I'm going to spend 4 of that to get myself a Regal Lookout. That does cost 4. It comes into play with an attack chip, and it comes into play with a range chip. It goes right there. It has Elfin 1, so at the beginning of the phase, I can put an Elfinkaze on it. Elfinkazes can go in on their glide bomb side or on their save side. Save would add 4 health. Glide bomb side would do 2 damage. Elfinkazes are super confusing, and I'm hopefully going to get them all right today, but ultimately when they are the leading minions, so basically looking at their terrain allotment, when they are closer to the fortress gate than any other minion, they can choose to go or not. If they don't go, they pass their turn. If they go, they can move up to the number of spaces on the roost ability of whatever they are camped on, and then they can get adjacent to opposing minions and spires and can do 2 damage. Pretty cool. Now, again, we only have 3 Elfinkazes, and as soon as we start defeating spires with them, remember, Elfinkazes go bye-bye. So when we're defeating spires, we need to use them very, very judiciously to make sure that we can get 3 renown. So I have 3 source left. I'm going to hold on to that for now. And I'm going to roll this die for the joust. That gives my joust 1 extra attack stat, and I like to see that. So I only have 6 CP. I'm going to get myself some Darb. Darb comes in at 0 CP, so he is the Osh of the Heirs. He does not cost anything. Normally, you would bring him in wave 1, and I'm crazy and brought him in wave 2. Oh my gosh, this guy is certifiable. You know what? Let me get the train. I'm going to do it. So I guess I'm not buying a train. That'd be weird. Choo-choo. I'm getting a tactics manual, but it has the train ability, and now Darb is going to have that, and I have 1 source left. I'm going to not do this, and then I do it. So that would immediately get replaced. We have another gear. It's a climbing gear. It says sure-footed. Not exactly sure what sure-footed does. Heroes can only have 1 of those chips anyway. This unit gains the terrain allotment for mountains. Makes sense, because they're sure-footed, so they can climb mountains. This cost me 0 of my 6 CP. Remember, I did roll that die, and it helped me not a bit, because I roll really good. Joust have extra attack stats. That means they're going to be doing 3 damage on their basic side. I like it. Would have preferred more health, but we'll deal. So he's going to come in with an attack chip, and then he's going to come in with 3 health. That is going to be 3 of my CP, and then I think I just get a gaggle of Harriers. I don't know if gaggles are right for Harriers, but I'm saying it. They all have 2 health, except, no, we have level 1 of stable, so they all have 3 health. I'm not going to group any of these. We're just going to stack them on top of each other, and we'll put Darb on top of that, and let's get a moving. So we go to the Brawnen first because they have priority in wave 2. We're moving 3 with his upgraded Battleborn. We're moving 2 with the grouped dispatches that are below it. Darb's going to move 1, 2 with its terrain allotment of anything. Keem's going to move 1, 2. The Joust is going to move 1, 2. The Harriers are going to move 1, 2, 3, 4. This Harrier is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, you don't have to make max progress. You just have to make some progress. This Harrier 2 is the max amount of movement it can use to make progress. I think if I go there, I don't make any progress. So here, 1, 2, we make some progress because again, we're trying to get up this path. The Harriers don't have any terrain allotment other than path. In the exploration phase, Keem is going to take a look at this. It is a Grail Goat. Grail Goat only has 3 health. Keem can just kill this thing. That's something he might want to do. The Grail Goats are interesting because they have Relentless as their retaliation. So you basically roll this die and you keep rolling until you roll a 0 or a 2. But then you add everything. So that would be 3 damage. That'd be 4 damage. That'd be 4 damage, which obviously is not what I want to take. So Keem is not going to attack this turn. He's going to be more strategic and attack next turn. Ooh, fancy. We're going to go to the Brawnen's turn. 1, 2, 3. Dispatch goes 2. We now do the Heirs. Remember, you can move your heroes before or after the minions move, but you cannot move a minion and then move a hero and then move the rest of your minions. You have to decide before or after. We will move after. This Harry is going to move 1, 2, 3, 4 and go there. We'll move this Joust actually, going to go 1, 2. This Harrier can only move 3 and still make progress. So it's going to go 1, 2, 3. And this Harrier can move 4 and make progress. 1, 2, 3, 4. This Grail Goat was revealed and it should have gotten 3 health. It didn't have engaged, so I didn't have to attack it last turn. Obviously I didn't. Keem is going to attack the Grail Goat. He's going to defeat it. We get 5 source. We go from 1 to 6. Grail Goat is out, and then we are now going to trigger Rally. What is Rally? Well, let me read it. When this unit defeats a unit or a spire, you may promote all air minions within 2 hexes of this unit. Great. So this Harrier is now promoted. This Harrier is within 2. This Joust is within 2. Now when this Joust flips, it goes from having 3 health to 4 health. So we'll give it another health chip. And by the way, Darb would have used its movement because, you know, Darb likes to move because it's good exercise for Darb. That's right, Darb. Keep moving. Keep working on that beautiful figure of yours. We're going to go to the Brawnen. The Brawnen are going to move 1, 2, 3. This batch is going to go 1, 2. The Battleborn is attacking this Harrier. It's attacking with 2. And the dispatch has range 2. So it's going to kill this Harrier. It was a short-lived endeavor for them. All my upgraded minions are still alive and well. Love to see Darb get a kill so we can start getting some upgrades here. Yeah, this Elfinkaze, oh, it's on the safe side. It should be on the glide bomb side. The Elfinkaze can't move 3 without doing damage to the Harrier. So we're not going to be even worried about using the Elfinkaze to see if it was leading minion and maybe get some damage on the Battleborn. Not worth it. So the Joust is going to go 1, 2. It can't move anymore. The Harrier is going to go 1, 2. And this Harrier is going to go 1, 2. Keem's going to move 1. Do I want to do quick strike with anyone? No, I do not. So the Lance Launcher, we go to the Spire's Fire stage. The Lance Launcher does not have range to anything. We can go to the Explore stage. I'm exploring this. Oh, it's the Awaken token. I knew this. Why am I so excited about looking at it again? Guys, surprise, it's an Awaken token. Yay! So the Joust is going to do its Fury Kick. So it's going to displace and it's going to do damage to all opposing units. So normally the upgraded Joust would only do 2 damage, but this one is going to do 3 damage because that was our upgrade with the stables. So this Battleborn is Toast My Ghost, and that's going to give us 2 source. So we go from 6 up to 8. These Harriers are just chilling. We now go to the Brawnen. Dispatch is going to move 1, 2. It does have air defense, but it only has range 2. There is no hero within range for it to do damage to, so it's going to do damage to a minion. You can attack any minion it wants. It's going to attack this minion. Again, minions within range. Again, it can't defeat any of them. We now go back to the Heirs' turn. Darb's going to go 1, 2. Keem is going to stay where he is. This Harrier can only move 1. This Harrier can only move 1. We will do a quick strike with the Joust. So 3 damage to all adjacent opposing units. So the Joust killed the top dispatch. The other dispatch comes into play with 3 health. These quick strikes are going to trigger. Again, I'm doing all this before the Spire fires. This Harrier is going to do 2 damage to the dispatch and going to take 1 damage in return because the dispatch is going to retaliate. And then this Harrier is going to finish off the dispatch. And Darb's like, I really need to get a kill, guys. Let me get one. Dispatches are both out. We get 6 source for that. So that gets us up from 8 to 14. And now the Lance Launcher is going to fire at the Joust. It does 3 damage. That's excessive. There are no opposing minions on the board. Both of my heroes are going to go into campfire mode. And now we'll finish out the heirs' turn. So the joust is going to go 1, 2, 3. Remember, it has 3 movement because it's on the upgraded side. This harrier is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. This harrier is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So neither of those harriers, unfortunately, were able to stay in range to get the other fortification chip off this lance launcher. This joust is going to do a quick strike. Both lance launchers are going to now fire. This lance launcher can defeat this harrier. It's in range 2, so it's going to attack it. It does defeat that harrier. Bye-bye, harrier. And then this lance launcher can defeat this joust. It could also defeat this harrier. The spacing of this is bad. I'm not actually going to be able to maximize too much out of this, unfortunately. I mean, this is where it escaped there, so I can kind of play with the movement, be a little bit better. The lance launcher will attack the joust. The joust only has 1 health left, so the joust is out. This harrier is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. This dispatch platform and this lance launcher both are going to have range. They're going to both attack. This dispatch platform is only attacking with 1 die. It does 1 damage. This lance launcher is attacking with 2 dice. It does no damage. Explore phase, why the heck not? We have the wounded priest who is recruitable. How does that work again? I forget. It's been a while. At the end of your turn, your faction attacks this unit this turn and is not under the control of another faction. You may gain control over it. Problem is, if I attack it, it'll have 2 health left. Then it's going to retaliate and kill my dude. So we will not do anything there. And now the harrier is going to go. Harrier goes 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to do 2 damage to the Brawnen gate. With quick strike, the Brawnen gate retaliates with 1. And then the dispatch platform spire is going to fire. It does 1 damage. The harrier is out, but we got 2 damage on the Brawnen gate, which is nice. Now I could spend 2 source to put a joust in play, and it would start there. Yeah, I think I want to do that. So I'm spending 2 source. I'm back down to 12, and I get to put a joust. Where does it go? So we're looking at the stables, level 2 reserves. Once per wave, when your last minion is eliminated, you may immediately spend 2 source to put a joust into play. Place a joust on the closest path hex to your mark that is adjacent to an heir spire. Closest path hex to my mark that's adjacent to an heir spire is all the way back here. It's not going to matter, but it will still have that extra attack chip, and it's going to come in with 3 health. But it's not on the promoted side. Again, it comes in unpromoted because, you know, King's Rally thing isn't in perpetuity for the rest of the jousts of the game. It's just for those jousts that were lucky enough to see Keem in all of his glory. So the joust is going to go 1, 2. The lance launcher is not in range to attack it. The joust is going to go 1, 2 again. It's going to attack the lance launcher, get that last fortification chip off. The lance launcher is attacking the joust. It's 2 damage to the joust. The joust goes 1, 2, and I think he's going to be toast my ghost at this point. Yep, that's all she wrote, but I think that was absolutely worth 2 source to get another chip off that lance launcher. Now remember, I need to defeat 2 of these Brawnen spires with Elfinkaze, and I'm running out of spires to do that to. There are only 3 on the board. There might be 1 added later. Hint, hint. At the end of the round, since the Elfinkaze is the last one on board, it's just going to go home, and we'll put it back out next turn. So I'll just put it back out there. So I started that round with 1 source. We defeated this goat, so that gave us 5 source. We got 8 source from the Brawnen thing, so that was 13 source. We spent 2, so we are plus 11, and now we're at 12 source. Third wave, let's roll the event die. Again, we would do a siege storm, no siege storm to occur for sure. So we get a 3. We're going to put another promoted Battleborn over here, and since there are now 2, they will deploy during the onslaught phase. They are also going to be the leading minions because obviously they are closest to the Brawnen mark. Oh, I never flipped one of these last market phase, so that technically should have been out last market phase. At least I don't think I did. If I did, I threw it somewhere and I don't see it, so I'm going to assume I didn't. We now go to the rest of the wave 3 setup. Income phase, I get 3 more source. That gets me from 12 up to 15. We're going to go to the market phase. We have Eden, 6 tracker. We have this chip, which is the anarchist, which I'm so intrigued by, but man, like, so annoying. That 3 damage is pretty sick though. And then we have the mechanical altitude. The anarchist only costs 1 to get. I mean, I'm tempted to do it. Mr. I never get anything from the market because it feels cheap. And here I am just buying away. The anarchy, your 4-dice units movement, roll a d6. If it was a 5 or a 6, it's just discarded, but it only costs me 1 source. That's it. 1 measly source. The Brawnen, they're going to add an attack chip to the bottom of all their siege towers. No, they're not. There are none. And now we go to the prep phase. We have 8 CP. I'm going to roll the die. I rolled a freaking blank again. It's unbelievable. Oh, I rolled 2 blanks. Oh, that's so hard to do. I mean, for real, I just hit a 1 out of 36 odds of getting absolutely no benefits from my fortress upgrades, which is amazing. Let me tell you how excited I am about that. We get the 2 promoted dispatches. I'm not. It's sarcasm, just so you know. Someone's like, why are you excited about that? I'm really confused. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it doesn't. I am going to get the anarchist because, it's an anarchist, and you should always get one when you can. We have 2 promoted dispatches that are not going to be in a stack, and then we have a non-promoted Aegis who will be underneath them, and that is going to be the Brawnen's deployment for this phase, not counting the Battleborns that are coming in from our right flank. That's right, our flank stakers over there. This Elfinkaze might have something to do about that. Remember, we only have 2 health left on our gate, so if either one of them get an attack on us, that's going to be very bad. Said I still bricked both of those things. I'm going to get a couple of upgrades on my fortress here. I'm going to get the master training, and that cost me 4. So now when a minion defeats something, it automatically promotes. It doesn't need to be next to Keem for rally. We're going to get the gate repair. Once per wave, I can spend 2 source to get 1 health back on my gate. And then we're going to get the fortress spires. It allows me to immediately conduct up to 2 minaret spires on my fortress at no cost. So that gets me down to 4. Let me get my minaret spires out of here. They both come into play with 1 attack, 1 range. There. Look at those blank dice. So frustrating. So frustrating. HCP. What do I want? I'm going to get a Humminger, a Harrier, and a Joust. The Humminger has 1 Elfin, so when it is dispatched, it can put a Elfinkaze on it. Harrier is going to have 2 health. It becomes 3 because of stables, and we just have a boring normal Joust because I roll really good. The Humminger is interesting. When it defeats something, it actually would promote, and on the other side, it is flying. The Heirs are going to have initiative this round. This should have replaced. This is combatant, fair fight. Let me put the anarchist grouped with the Joust. Now, if the Joust were to promote, I don't know how that works. I assume you're kind of just grandfathered in. Just to not have to deal with a rules quagmire right now, I'll just group the anarchist in with the Humminger. I don't feel like looking it up. Final answer is I have a Harrier on top of 3 health. I have a Joust on top of 3 health and no bells and whistles. We have an Elfinkaze, which is on top of a Humminger. And then we have the anarchist grouped with the Humminger. Alrighty then, the heirs. I'm going to move the minions first so I can see where they go, and the heroes don't get displaced by all the minions. So the Harrier is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, displacing Darb. The Joust is going to go 1, 2, and the Humminger is going to go 1, 2. Darb's going to chill there, and then Keem's going to go 1, 2, and 3. The Battleborns are going to go over here, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. The dispatch is going to go here because now the leading minion, not the Battleborns went. So 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2. This minaret is in range to attack the Battleborn. It's rolling 1 die. It does 0 damage. This Regal Lookout is also in range. It's rolling 1 die against that Battleborn. It does 0 damage. Woo! It's amazing. I'm going to move my first hero here, 1, 2. And then I'm not going to move Keem just yet. So leading minion is the Harrier, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This is because he has all terrain. So it can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So they're actually equal distant. So I'm going to use this opportunity to make the Elfinkaze the leading minion, going in there and blowing up both of those Battleborns. It only gets removed from the game and you add an architect if I use it to defeat a spire. So I can use it before that, and that's great. And now Dark can finally get an upgrade, which is long overdue. And again, that was still part of movement. Now I have to move the rest of my minions before I move Keem. This Harrier is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. The Joust is going to go 1, 2. The Humminger is going to go 1 and 2. Keem's now going to finally move. It's going to go 1, 2. Darb's going to attack this Battleborn, get an upgrade of an attack chip. Remember, it can take 1 other upgrade, and then after that, it'll be on the promoted side. So it takes a really long time to promote with that train. I don't know if that's necessarily the best thing. And then Keem's going to go ahead and defeat this Battleborn. Rally is going to trigger. This Joust is now upgraded. The Joust gets another health. This is out. This is out. Now I defeated 2 Battleborns. That's going to give me 4 more source. So I go from 4 up to 8. Never actually spent the 2 to get a health to my gate. I will absolutely do that. So I have 6 source. None of the other heirs minions are in a place where they can attack anything. So we're good to go. The dispatch is going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. The heirs are going to go. Harrier is going to be out of position again. Silly Harrier. Keem's going to go 1, 2. Darb's going to go 1, 2. They're going to definitely do some exploring. Yeah, Harrier is just a little bit, unfortunately, stuck. Not doing anything super productive. And just getting attacked by lots of stuff. Now the minions all still have to move. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Joust is going 1, 2, 3. And then I want to go really slow with the Humminger. So 1, 2. No quick strikes and trigger. Spires are going to fire. This spire cannot reach the Harrier, but this lance launcher can. Rolling 2 dice against the Harrier. It does 3 damage. Harrier down. I mean, that's a very unfortunate roll. It would have been nice to be able to draw some fire from the dispatch. In the explore phase, Keem and Darb are going to see what's going on over here. Yikes. It is the altar of aggression. Engage entropy foreboding. If it ever goes down to 1 health, it destroys itself. It does 2 damage to everything around it. Well, Keem's going to do 3 damage to it, and then Darb's going to do 2 because it has an upgrade chip. So we did not get down to 1 health. Since we defeated that chip, Darb is going to get another upgrade. We'll give it another attack chip, so it's doing 3 damage. Now, again, it doesn't promote yet because of train. When it flips, the problem is it loses all its upgrades. They're going to have to really start from the ground up again. And Darb's promoted side isn't that great. We get no source out of that, so it's kind of an annoying little chip. Don't really love it. Haven't had great opportunities with these landmarks, that is for sure. We're now going to go to the Brawnen's turn. So 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2. No spires are in range, and now this dispatch is going to definitely wall up this joust, and that makes me really sad. So if this Harrier had survived, I could have really saved some trouble here. So that's 2 damage to the joust. Joust is down to 2 health. Splash doesn't trigger because I have no adjacent units. Darb's going to go 1, 2. Keem's going to go 1, 2, 3. Joust's going to go 1, 2, 3. And then the Humminger is going to go 1, 2. So the Elfinkaze is weird. So it moves like a hero. You can choose not to move it, but it can only move when it's a leading minion. And it would have been a leading minion here, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Opposed to the Humminger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we're not moving with the Elfinkaze. Again, it's only roost 2. So the Elfinkaze can only move 2 when going off of the Humminger. Joust is going to do a quick strike. It's going to flip these suckers. Do 2 damage to everything. Really wish I had an attack upgrade. You know, would have been nice, but I roll really bad and I'm upset about it. This dispatch will retaliate, however, and it does 2 damage to the joust. Joust is out. So we now go to the Brawnen's turn. The Brawnen's going to move 1, 2, 1, 2, and then 1, 2. One of these dispatches is going to attack a minion it can defeat. The Elfinkaze has flying, but the dispatch has air defense, so the Elfinkaze is defeated. Now, Splash would trigger if there are adjacent minions. It does not affect the Humminger. The Humminger is not considered adjacent. This dispatch is going to do 2 damage to the Humminger, however. Actually, I could have had this dispatch kill the Elfinkaze, and then this dispatch would have done the 2 damage to the Humminger, so the Humminger gets to fight back and actually defeats the dispatch. And what does that do? Well, it upgrades it because we have level 2 of the Academy Peak. I don't get any health, but now I am flying and my terrain allotment is a lot better. We're still not going to last very long in this situation, but it feels good to be a promoted Angry Owl. We're going to go to the Heirs' turn. The Humminger has to move full allotment and make some progress. It's going to go 1, 2, and I think it's just time to really start picking at this lance launcher. I just want it to go away, and then we'll have an Anarchist, and the Anarchist can do some Anarchist things. So the Humminger's going to move. It's 2 movement to go there. So I have to finish my movement. The Humminger's there. Keem's going to go 1, 2, 3, and Darb's going to go 1, 2. The Spires are going to fire on the Humminger. It's 2 dice. Humminger is dead. The Anarchist is like, hello, I bet you weren't expecting me. That's right. What is Anarchy again? Let me read it. So make sure I don't mess this up. Before this unit's movement each turn, roll a d6. So we are way past the movement phase. So the Anarchist is still going to be able to do an attack. I'm going to put the Humminger under there just to keep it the same color as the Heirs. The Anarchist is going to attack the Lance Launcher. Let's get it down as fast as we can. The Dispatch and the Aegis cannot move because they are totally stuck. The Dispatch is going to attack the Anarchist. Now, Splash would trigger if there are any units for it to attack that are adjacent to me. There are not. Dispatch does 2 damage to the Anarchist. Anarchist is going to retaliate and defeat the Dispatch. and we're going to get 2 source for that. So that gets us up to 8. We're going to roll a d6, 5 or 6. The anarchist goes away. It's a 6. I always just first time, every time, like just, oh my gosh, it's so frustrating. Bye, anarchist. Thanks for playing. I guess kind of want to get that opened up. That's one argument to do the awaken thing. Well, with the anarchist out, I can spend 2 source and get myself a joust. Again, it's not a special joust because, you know, I roll good, but it comes in on the non-promoted side with 3 health, and it's going to go adjacent to that. I really don't want Keem to get roughed up here. So Keem's going to go 1, 2 and not attack, but now he's at least not in range of anything to attack him. Joust has to move and is going to go 1, 2. The Aegis is going to go 1, 2. Keem's going to go 1, 2, 3. Don't want to get attacked by that lance launcher. And the joust is going to go 1, 2. Quick strike, so 2 damage becomes 1 damage, and then the Aegis fights back. And now the lance launcher is going to probably finish off the joust. But the good thing about that is I was able to save full health for both Darb and Keem. So it's definitely worth doing that. We now go to the Brawnen's turn. Aegis goes there. We go to the Heirs turn. 1, 2. Gonna nestle down there. It's not ideal, but should put me in an okay position for next turn. Maybe. And then Darb's going to move here. Darb's going to attack the Aegis. Is attacking with 3 because we have the extra upgrade. That's going to be a promotion for Darb. So Darb flips over and loses all of its upgrades and now has dodge. So what dodge means is that when Darb would be defeated, instead of actually being defeated, it just flips back over to its non-promoted side and just loses its upgrades. So it's a little bit annoying. So I need to figure out a way to get some upgrades back, but I get 3 source, which gets me up to 9. All right, and Keem is just like chilling.
Hey guys, you can't see me over here.
So we've defeated exactly 0 Brawnen Spires with Glide Bomb. Love it. Let's go to wave 4. We're going to roll the event die. I got a 1. What does 1 do? Well, 1 says trigger Siege Storm again. Doesn't matter. We're going to get 5 source. So I go from 9 up to 14. Now we're going to do the market phase. These chips are going to go away. I'm going to get something that I probably shouldn't because that's how I've been rolling today. Nope, those are all heroes. Can't take any of those. The Brawnen are going to purchase the Stronghold 2 gate dispatches. That means when a non-adjacent unit attacks the stronghold, the gate retaliates 3, not just the normal 1. And the Brawnen are going to construct a lance launcher. So again, it's going to be something with air defense, and that's going to go on one of his fortress source wells. I will put it on the far one because I can. It comes in with 2 attack and 1 range. I'll put that right over there. We have 10 CP. I'm going to roll this die and make sure it's a blank. Hey, 11 CP. Oh, man, I'm rolling so bad. Joust, hey, plus an attack die. All right, not awful. Brawnen are going to get what? They're getting an upgraded Aegis. They're going to have that grouped with an upgraded dispatch. Those will both have 3 health. Nice thing about the upgraded Aegis is moving nice and slow, which will give the Keem a path to get over into that part of the world where he wants to be. We're also going to have a Source Siege, and that's going to be grouped with a non-upgraded dispatch. So lots of air defense coming at us. This has 4 health. The Source Siege, again, has transport, which you just kind of ignore. It basically is just grouped with 1 unit, 3 range, which is a lot, and then air defense. Never doing that awaken thing is proving a little problematic, because I just haven't been able to build another lookout where I wanted to. I haven't liked where these landmark chips have fallen at all. I'm going to spend 4 for a Regal lookout here. Does that make sense? Maybe not. I'm going to do it anyway. Then I'm going to get the 2 Kaze roosts for 6. So level 1 and level 2. So now the Hummingbird minions have +1 to their roost. So it's not just 2. It is now 3. That gets me now to 4 source. With my 11 CP, definitely want a Hummingbird. That's going to cost me 4. Joust is going to cost me 3. Another Joust and a Harrier. That is 11. 3 health for the Joust, 3 health for the Harrier. Joust also will have an attack upgrade. This Joust will have an attack upgrade and 3 health. And this Hummingbird will have 3 health. Elfinkaze on the Hummingbird. Putting Elfinkaze on the Regal lookout here. And we'll put our final Elfinkaze on the Regal lookout here. Remember, with Roost, they can all jump on top of the Hummingbird. The Hummingbird just go down the entire path with 3 Elfinkazes on it. But remember, with the splash abilities of the dispatches, got to be very careful all those don't get blown to smithereens all at once, because that would make you very sad. At least make me sad. I don't know about you. We're going to now go to the Brawnen's turn. So the Brawnen are going to put the Aegis out, maximum progress. The Source Siege is going to move 1, 2. Source Siege has 3 range, cannot get to Keem. Everything's good. We're all happy about that. We now go to the Heirs' turn. Keem's going to move 1, 2, 3 and skate over there. Darb is just going to move 1, 2. Harrier is going to move 1, 2, 3, 4. Joust is going to move 1, 2. Joust is going to move 1, 2. And the Humminger is going to move 1, 2 with an Elfinkaze on top of it. Keem is going to get attacked by this Lance Launcher with 2 dice coming at it. And 3 damage. Oh, the joys. At least I'm rolling well for somebody. Keem is now going to attack this, get the fortification chip off of it, hopefully survive the next couple of rounds. We now go to the Heirs' turn. Aegis moves, the Source Siege moves. The Aegis cannot attack Keem because he does not have air defense, but the Source Siege is going to do 1 damage to Keem. Shoot, Keem is a gunner. Yeah, rolling a 3 with that Lance Launcher was not good timing. Well, looks like we're going to see Jelena in the 5th wave here. So we're going to move Keem 1, 2, 3. We're going to move Darb 1, 2. We're going to move the minions now. Harriers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Elfinkaze 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They're equal. Elfinkaze is going to go over to the Humminger. This Elfinkaze is going to chill. Harrier is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Joust is going to go 1, 2. This Joust is going to go 1, 2. Humminger is going to go 1, 2. The Harrier is going to do a quick strike. The Lance Launcher is going to attack Darb because it's going to attack a hero that it can damage before it attacks a minion. No damage. Darb is going to go ahead and kill this. It's going to definitely leave me limited options to make sure I do the rest of this with the Elfinkaze, but it's going to allow me to get one of my 2 upgrades that are possible on Darb, and I think that's more important right now because I'm about to lose Keem. I'm going to get 3 source for that. Lance Launchers only give 3 as opposed to the Siege Towers, which give 5. Keem's going to go over here and knock out that range chip. You know what? And I will, in the Explore phase, let me do this Awaken. I think it's time. Well, hopefully this doesn't have Engage. It does, but this flips 2, comes in with 4 health. So we're going to have to put that thing back. Again, I don't have Quick Strike anymore as Keem, so now we have this stupid Traxor Loner. In theory, it could have saved Keem, but now that Keem has to attack it, yeah, it's really bad. So the Traxor Loner comes in with 4 health. This Awaken chip goes away. I'm just trying to get places where I could build spires. And so Keem, instead of taking a chip off the dispatch, is going to do 3 damage to the Traxor Loner. The Traxor Loner retaliates, and Keem is no longer. Remember, heroes, when they're defeated, they are out for good. And now dispatch platform still has the range. We now go to the Brawnen's turn. Aegis moves, Source Siege moves. No spires from the heirs to attack them. The Aegis is going to attack the Wounded Priest for 2 damage. The Wounded Priest retaliates for 2 damage. The Source Siege has to attack the Traxor Loner because it can. So the Traxor Loner comes out, and now we have a Source Well. Remember, I need to get a spire on all 4 aisles. Right now, I only have a spire on 1. The Traxor Loner was bad. I wanted to flip this dude up. Leading minion is this Harrier. Has to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Joust is going 1, 2. This Joust is going 1, 2. This Elfinkaze, well, at some point would have been leading minion. It would have moved there. So now we have 3 Elfinkazes on a Humminger. 1, 2. I want to move Darb. We'll move Darb 2 into this. The Harrier is going to attack the Wounded Priest. Wounded Priest retaliates for 2. Harrier is down to 1 health. The Lance Launcher is now going to attack the Harrier, and the Dispatch Platform can also attack the Harrier. 1 damage. Brawnen's turn. Brawnen's going to go 1. Source Siege goes there. Defeat the Wounded Priest. Heirs' turn. Darb's going to go 1, 2. Joust is going to go 1, 2. Joust is going to go 1, 2. Humminger is going to go 1, 2. Nothing's attacking. Brawnen's turn. Aegis goes 1. Source Siege goes 1. Source Siege attacks Darb 1. It is a hero. It can damage. Heirs' turn. Darb's going to go 1, 2. Joust goes 1, 2. This Joust goes 1, 2. This Humminger goes 1, 2. Joust has a quick strike, does 2 damage. It defeats the Aegis. We get the upgraded dispatch underneath. So that has a splash ability, which is super bad. Joust upgrades and gets a health, and we get 3 source. The lance launcher would attack. So it's attacking the Joust again after the quick strike. 2 dice, 2 damage. The dispatch can't move. The source siege can't move. So the dispatch is going to defeat this Joust. The source siege is going to do 1 damage to Darb. The Heirs' turn. Darb is stuck. Darb's going to hang. The Joust is going to move there. Hummer goes there. Joust is attacking. It's doing 3 damage because again it has the upgraded attack chip. We're going to get 2 source for that. That gets us up to 12. And then the Joust upgrades and we get another health. Lance launcher is going to attack the Joust. And 4 damage. Holy shit. 4 damage. That's really bad. Joust is out. Bye-bye, Joust. Bunch of really terrible rolls. Shoot, I'm about to lose Darb. Source Siege is going to come over here. It's going to defeat Darb. Darb has dodge, so it just loses its upgrades. I think it's going to lose its merch. Definitely loses that attack upgrade. We're going to go to the Heirs' turn. Leading minion is the Elfinkaze. It's going to defeat that, do 2 damage to the Source Siege. Leading minions, the other Elfinkaze. Take that off. 2 damage to the Source Siege. We now have just the dispatch. Again, this is all during movement. Source Siege gives us no source. And then we're going to actually do the other Elfinkaze as well. Leading minion. Now remember, Darb was defeated in a sense. The only reason that the Source Siege attacked Darb instead of the Elfinkaze is because Darb only had 1 health left. We got that range chip off of the lance launcher. So now we're going to have to do all of our glide bombing in the 5th wave to get all 3 renown. That's not likely. Now the dispatch has 1 health left. All the Elfinkaze are out. And now with the rest of the movement, Darb's going to move 1, 2. Spire's fire. Nothing's in range to be fired upon. Again, Darb's flying, so the dispatch platform can't get it. The Humminger is going to defeat the dispatch. Humminger upgrades. It is now flying as well. It was a regular dispatch, so we get 3 source instead of just a 2 for the upgraded side. Darb enters campfire mode. Humminger is going to move 2. The lance launcher does have air defense, so it will attack the Humminger. It does 1 damage. Humminger is going to get rid of that attack chip. Humminger goes again. 1, 2. We are going to displace Darb. This dispatch platform does not have air defense. Humminger goes, oh shoot, this lance launcher is now the big problem. They're all the big problem. So the Humminger is going to go 1, 2. This lance launcher is attacking the Humminger. Please roll bad for once or 3 again. Humminger is out. Spend 2 source. We're going to get a Joust. Give me a Joust with that attack upgrade because of that, plus 3 health. So I'm down to 12. So the Joust is going to activate. Goes 1, 2. Now I'm going to do 2 limited builds and let me build 2 Regal Lookouts. So I'm spending 8 more. I'm down to 5. Regal Lookout number 1 will go here. Regal Lookout number 2 will go right here. Joust is going to go 1, 2. Let me not build this one. Let me get that 4 source back. So I just use 1 limited build option. So Joust is going 1, 2. Joust is going 1, 2 quick strike. So again, the glide bomb has to go there, there, and the fortress gate. This is 3 more source because I defeated this lance launcher. Upgrade, get another health. So 1, displace, 2, 3. Attacking the fortress, doing 3 damage, down to 5. Fortress retaliates. I am adjacent, so still only retaliating 1. That was a quick strike. This dispatch platform is attacking with 1 die, 1 damage. This lance launcher is also attacking with 2 dice. Can I please blank 1 time? Yes, 1 damage. Ask and you shall receive. So the fortress gate knocked off 1. This launcher knocked off 1, and that dispatch platform knocked off 1. So that was fine. Joust's going to go again. It's going to go 1, 2, 3. And let's take off this range chip over here instead of doing damage to the gate. And then the dispatch platform and the lance launcher are both attacking. So the Joust is gone. Good Joust. That was a nice little run. In a very unlikely spot for us to be able to pull this off. But we're going to have fun trying. So let's get to the 5th wave. I'm going to roll the event die. Heirs now have priority again. Event die is a 5. We're going to put a promoted Battleborn over here. He will never come into play. We are going to get 5 source, gets us up to 17. we're going to get the normal market phase. Don't think I've done the landscape since the second wave. So 3, this is 4, here's wave 5. The market chips here, Back to the Future. That could be very strong. I'm about to put a hero in play. We have a Mountaineer, which is a Hunter, and then we have the anti-Brawnen. We spend 3. Again, we only do 1 market purchase. I think this time vials could be huge. The Brawnen they're going to purchase, Gate Spikes, level 3. So now if you're adjacent, it's going to retaliate 3, not just the 1. And I'm going to roll this die. How many CP am I going to get? So I actually get 15. Nice, because it's 12 plus the 3. Big roll there. Upgraded Joust, please. Another attack chip. Man, I kind of want the health, but I will take the attack, not whine too much. I'll whine a little bit because, you know, it's what I do. We get 2 upgraded dispatches, the upgraded Aegis. They are going to be stacked in 1 unit. That's going to have 3 health. We're having another Source Siege back. On the bottom of that's going to be another promoted Aegis. 2 promoted Aegises, 2 promoted dispatches, and a Source Siege. We're now going to spend my CP. I have a total of 15. We are going to get Jelena in here. Jelena, save us! So Jelena costs 6 CP, and she's going to have the time vials on her. I'm going to give her 5 health. Plus she has Elfin 1. Back to the Future, so people know what I bought. Once per wave at the end of your turn, during the onslaught phase, the unit may move and attack, even if it's already done so this turn. I'm going to upgrade my fortress a little bit. I'm going to get Glide as their movement when deploying. Ungroup flying units may teleport to a hex adjacent to an air spire on the isle adjacent to your fortress gate. And then if I get both levels, as their movement when deploying, ungroup flying units may teleport to a hex adjacent to any air spire. That's going to cost me 6, which gets me from 14 down to 8. I'm then going to go ahead and just get myself a cheap spire that I expect to be blown out of the water here. And I'm going to get a minaret that's going to cost me 3. And I'll put an attack upgrade on it to get me down to 2 source. Hopefully I can do some damage to the Aegis. We're going to put 1 Elfin on Jelena. We're going to put 1 Elfin on this Regal Lookout. I'm going to get a Humminger as well. Jelena and the Humminger gives me 10 CP spent. This Humminger is going to have to bring up the rear and do some magic. Remember, it has Roost 3, which is great. Jelena is going to go on top with her 5 health. I have 5 more CP to spend. Could get the Royal Talon. Don't think that's the most effective thing to do. I'm going to get a Joust and 2 Harriers. Harrier 1 is going to have 3 health. Harrier 2 is going to have 3 health. Joust has 3 health and an attack stat. So the Heirs are first. Jelena, as her movement, is going to move adjacent to any air spire. She's going to move over here. Darb is going to move 1, 2. The Harriers are going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Joust 2. Elfinkaze on the Humminger there. Darb is going to take off that range chip. Aegis is going to move 1. Source Siege is going to move there. Aegis is not in range to attack, not in range to be attacked. The Source Siege is going to do 1 damage to Darb, and Darb is out. Valiant efforts, sir. Go hang out with your friend Keem. Jelena is going to go 1, 2. Harriers, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Elfinkaze is going to jump on here whenever it was leading minion. 1, 2 with the Humminger who's buried under some Elfinkazes. He'll go here. I'm going to try to prolong his efforts in a very serious way. Jelena is going to do 1 damage to the spire and then leave that last chip. Jelena is flying, so the Aegis can't attack her. So the Aegis is going to move 1. Source Siege moves 1. Aegis gets attacked by this minaret. I rolled a 3. Beautiful. Armored knocks it down to 2. Source Siege does 1 damage to Jelena. Jelena is going to stay there because now she can kill the Aegis. Harrier is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. This Harrier is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. This Joust is going to go 1, 2. The Humminger is going to go 1, 2. Jelena is going to defeat the Aegis and take a armor upgrade. And now she's going to use her Back to the Future ability. By the way, that's 3 source because we killed the Aegis. And Jelena is going to go again and going to move 1, 2 and attack. And the spire is on fire again. So it's a total like extra move and attack. Dispatch is going to move 1. The Source Siege moves 1. Minaret's going to attack the Dispatch. Minaret also has air defense. Air defense everywhere. 2 damage to the Dispatch. The Dispatch is going to attack a spire it can damage. over the Harrier. That's out. Source Siege is going to attack a hero it can damage, so it's going to attack Jelena. Jelena is going to go protect herself a little bit. Going to go 1, 2. Harrier can't move. This Harrier can't move. Joust goes 1, 2. The Elfinkaze jumps on board, and the Humminger goes 1, 2. Actually, with Splash, oh yeah, when it attacked the Minaret, it also would have done 1 damage to both of these Harriers because of Splash. Don't forget, Harrier is going to do 1 damage to the Dispatch. It immediately upgrades. Another Dispatch comes into play, and I'm going to get 2 Source out of that because that was an upgraded Dispatch. The Brawnen go. The Brawnen cannot move again. Dispatch is going to get attacked by the Minaret. 1 die, 1 damage. The Dispatch cannot defeat the Minaret, but it can defeat one of the minions. So its priority is going to be to attack a minion. Splash will not work on the Minaret. I'm going to have the Source Siege. Oh, I could do it that way. That's better. I'll have the Source Siege attack the Minaret because it cannot defeat a minion. And now the Dispatch can defeat the Minaret. So it's going to go ahead and defeat the Minaret, and it's going to splash on both Harriers. 1, 2. Oh, and then the Minaret is destroyed, which is fine. I can rebuild it. I still have 2 limited build options. The Heirs are going to go. This Joust is stuck in a traffic jam. The Humminger is going to move 1, 2. Still going nice and slow. This Harrier is going to attack 2 with Quick Strike. It defeats the Dispatch, which gives me 2 Source, and it's already promoted. So now we have a Source Siege and an upgraded Aegis. The Source Siege is going to go. It's going to attack a minion it can defeat. It's going to attack this minion. Harrier's out. Heirs are going to go. It's going to move here. The Joust is going to move here. The Humminger is going to move 1, 2. The Harrier is going to attack, do 2 damage to the Source Siege. Source Siege retaliates and wipes out the Harrier. What a valiant effort, little buddy. You're the strongest Harrier ever. The Source Siege is going to go. It attacks the Joust. The Joust retaliates for 3. It defeats the Source Siege, which allows it to promote and gets a health back. Here we have a little Aegis.
Who you calling little?
You! And now it's the Heirs' turn. The Joust can't move. The Humminger moves 2. The Joust attacks the Aegis. It's going to do a Fury Kick with Eager. Flips that sucker around. Does 3 damage, which becomes 2. The Aegis retaliates for 2. All these suckers can still attack. The Humminger is going to be the one to finish off the Aegis, doing 2 damage. That upgrades, so now he's flying. And he's got 3 Elfinkaze just chilling on him. And that gives me 3 more Source. Jelena is in campfire mode. My turn, limited build options. I'm going to spend 7 Source, get a Minaret here, and a Regal Lookout there. So those are both my limited build options. The Joust is going to go 1, 2, 3. Humminger goes 1, 2. Quick Strike. The Joust does 3 damage to the gate. The gate does 3 damage back. The Joust is out. Next turn, Elfinkaze is the leading minion. It's going to go here. It's going to defeat this Spire. So that's one of the 2 Spires. That gives me 3 Source. Gets me up to 7 or so. I kind of lost track a little bit right at the end here. These Elfinkazes are not going to move. The Humminger moves 1, 2. Next turn, leading minion. Elfinkaze has moved into 3 because it's Roost 2, but I have the upgraded Kazi. It's going to give me Roost 3 off the Humminger. So 1, 2, 3. I'm killing the Fortress Gate, and I'm wiping out the Lance Launcher with the same Elfinkaze and 3 Renown. Woo! I did not think that was going to happen. That was a lot. Oh, shoot. An Architect would have been added. Just a regular old Architect. But all these guys are flying because the Humminger. So yeah, the Architect, one of them been able to do any damage. One of them matters. The Architect is here. He moves 1, 2. He couldn't attack anybody because he doesn't have air defense. And then the Elfinkaze would have come in, and ultimately that would have put another Architect there. But the scenario immediately ends as soon as the Brawnen Fortress Gate is done. Woo! That was ridiculous. Man, that was fun. I'm glad I got that on the camera for sure. This game just presents like a really intense, tight little puzzle every time, and it's super cool. So the next chapter is a Brazen Blitz, which I looked at the mechanics of, and I was like, oh, I'll learn this another day. But it looks pretty freaking awesome. There's a bunch of Earthscapes in the middle of the table, and it looks like you're going to have to kind of rearrange things to get yourself access to the not just 1, but the 2 Fortress Gates that you'll be up against, because it is the Heirs versus the Grove Tenders and the Narora. The Narora is definitely a faction I'm super excited to dig into more. I really haven't done much with anything beyond what you've seen on the channel, and that's just kind of how I like to learn games. I learn them slow. I take my time. I do one hero at a time. I do one scenario at a time. I do one spirit at a time, depending on the game, one investigator at a time. I'd like to layer my experiences with the game and kind of dive in slowly over time. So it's not really a dive. It's more like a spelunking crawl into a deep, amazing cave, right? So yes, I used spelunking correctly in a sentence. Woo! SAT words for the win. That's about it. I'm a little delirious. That took a long time. It's going to be annoying as heck to edit, but it's worth it so I can bring to you all the adventures that happen in my little basement here. Thank you so much for your support of this channel and your watch time and your likes and your comments and all of it. If you want to see what's coming up next in Solo Playthroughs Land, you can go on my Patreon page. There will be a link to that in the description of this video below. There I put a schedule. It's a public post I put once a month, which will tell you what is happening in the month that we are in, plus a sneak peek at the month to come. While you're there, if there is a tier of support that makes sense for you, please consider that. I would love it and appreciate the more support I can get for this channel, the better it is as I continue to try to invest in new equipment and spend the time and effort that is necessary to bring the best quality playthroughs I can to this channel. It does take a lot of time and I absolutely love it, but there are some practical considerations as well that do need to be taken into account as I continue to invest more time here for sure. That is that. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope this was fun for you, because it was definitely fun for me. And until next time, happy gaming.